Oh my god, there's a shitstorm around here. Let's clean this up for a minute. Oh yes, suck on Mother Russia's big fucking dick. Well, not really big fucking dick, but you know. You get what I freaking mean. Anyway, while we're sweeping up the mess and bits and butts and that, well, we're gonna try to figure out how we can play as Zarya and how she plays. So this is Zarya. This little bitch has around 400 health, 200 being regular health and 200 of it being shielding, and she's a tank hero. So let's talk about her main weapon, the particle cannon. What this does is 100 energy with 20 energy a second that's consumed, and it has a good length of 16 meters and 95 meters a sec or damage a second, and with a 1.5 second reload, the usual for the heroes. This is good at a very long length, but the damage is okay, but it could be better. So, with that being said, let's talk about her alt fire. Now this is her alt fire. What this alt fire does, it's pretty much a particle bomb of sorts. What this does, it gives you out a huge explosion, but it doesn't have as much damage as the other characters. It's actually pretty miserable by itself with no energy. It only has 1 round a second, it requires 25 rounds within the ammo, and the damage is pretty clumsy, at 45 damage per shot. It can damage multiple enemies, but it's not really good at killing people by itself. Maybe weaken characters, but not as much. But let's talk about her abilities. Her first ability, this one's a little bit, her abilities are more when it comes to shielding, but this is called Projected Barrier. What Projected Barrier does, as you can see there, it gives an ally within 30 meters of sight a barrier, and that has around 200 health, and it lasts for a good old 2 seconds. And it has an 8-second cooldown in total. What this does, it's really good when it comes to short assaults or trying to protect people when it comes to ultimates and that, especially to like healers or other big tanks or anyone else important. But what about her other ability? What does that do? Her other ability is pretty much the same thing as her last ability, which is another barrier, but this barrier is to herself, and it's called Particle Barrier. Like the Projected Barrier, this one can give you a barrier by yourself with 200 health with it, and it only lasts for a good old 2 seconds. And with this one, it has a 10-second cooldown. And like with the allied one, this one's really good when you're in danger or when you're trying to go into an attack. And if you're going to get some large amounts of damage, it is really good when it comes to it, and you can use it to increase your passive energy or your passive ability. But what does the passive ability do by chance? Like being said, Zarya has a passive ability as well. This passive ability is called Energy. What energy does, it's when you have a projected and the particle barriers up together, every time they're hit, they will increase energy for you. And each energy is 1% that will do to your damage, which means if you get 100%, this will nearly double your damage, and that includes the alt fire as well. If you use this right, you can easily wipe out characters and you could be a massive threat to the enemy team. But that's all becoming when it comes to calculated risk in that, and when your team is actually listening in that. But the more you have, the more that you'll become. But let's talk about her ultimate now. So, her ultimate, pretty much it's known as Black Hole or God's Dumpster, but this is called Graviton Surge. What Graviton Surge does, it pulls people in from 9 meters away and traps them in the area for a good old 4 seconds, but only doing a shitty 22 damage only. What this is, it's pretty good when it comes to trapping enemies and pretty much wiping out the enemy team if your people are there as well. And it's really good for changing games and for getting a good victory when it comes to it. But we've seen how Zarya's moves are. Let's see how we can play as her. When played right, she can be a massive threat to the enemy team, and she can also be very rewarding in the end depending on how she is played. She's more like a supportive tank hero than anything else. She doesn't have any of the abilities that other tanks have. With this one, before you approach the enemies, I would suggest using the barrier so they can get some shots in, and you can easily just use the the energy just to wipe them out clean. But like being said, use the barriers when they are using ultimates or when you're causing a big damage, and use your barriers to provide support, especially against wounded tanks or other heroes that are really important to you. When you're in low health, stay in cover, and your shields can easily recover for you. And use the Graviton Surge when there's a big group of enemies, and when your group is present at the same time. Their ultimates can easily wipe them out, but not you. But she can be pretty rewarding, as I said. Just you have to be really careful with her. And without further ado, let's play as Zarya.
Get in there.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Don't stop that thrill. Like bones crave your skin. Temptation within. Mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
Fire's on.
Turret
Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to vote, rate, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and be sure to look at my Facebook page down below. And sadly, I will not be doing any more Overwatch guides for now. Love Overwatch, but I'm not going to be doing any more for now because I'm going to be doing the Modern Warfare Remastered Weapon Guide. And I played Modern Warfare when it first came out, so might as well do a weapon guide based on it, and hopefully people will be happy with that. But I will be doing the Overwatch guide later after I'm done with the Modern Warfare weapon guide. I hope everyone understands that. But thank you all very much for watching. Galactic Storm saying, keep charging, bitches.